You know I love Apt. I mean, please. We're going to get to the new episode of Live from My Office in 60 seconds, but first I got to get something off my chest. I love Apt Electronics, and I love that they sponsored Live from My Office. You know, Apt is your number one destination for the home, and with LG's summertime Buy More, Save More promotion, you can save up to an extra $1,000 when you bundle eligible LG and or LG Studio Home appliances. Offers valid June 18th through August 20th. Get on it. And LG is committed to creating products that perform at the highest level for years to come. Elevate your life at home with America's most reliable line of appliances, except no substitutes. For free and home delivery, professional installation, complete satisfaction, do what I do. I'm not kidding around. Shop at Apt. You know the drill at Apt. They've been pleasing people for a long time. I think since 1936. Thank you, Apt. Live from the International Space Station, it's my pal Steve Sands. Hello, buddy.
Wow. I've really stepped up here as an astronaut, flying all the way up there.
You actually have amazing service, considering the fact you're in the middle of cold country and the mountains around Pittsburgh, headed into Pittsburgh for the U.S. Open. How you been? It's been a while.
I know. It's been a long time, Steve. You've been a busy guy. Everything's good. Beautiful place. Love coming to Pittsburgh. Great sports town. Mainly the Steelers and the Bucks, obviously, and the Penguins. I can't talk nicely about the Penguins as a Caps fan, but this is it's a great sports town. The USGA's back here for the 10th time. This place, Oakmont, Steve, has hosted more U.S. Opens than any other venue in the United States. It's an awesome, awesome track.
Yeah, they've got 3 more by 2050. Now, in 2050, I will be 89 years old. I'll probably be a 10 handicap by then.
You'll be 89 in 2050?
Yep.
Wow. You're a lot younger than me, pal. I'll be long gone in 2050.
I doubt it. I doubt that very much. It's great to reconnect with you, and it's great to talk to you and the busiest guy in the world with the Golf Channel and NBC. How many weeks a year do you travel?
Probably between golf, college basketball, and the Olympics, probably 32, 33 weeks a year.
Well, thank God the airlines have made it so comfortable.
Oh, I love sitting in 32B for the last 35 years. There's nothing like it.
You know the slogan, they're not happy till we're not happy.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? Just keep her in the air, oh boy. I don't care.
All right, I got a couple of non-golf questions, and we'll jump into the U.S. Open here. Oklahoma City and the Indiana Pacers, great basketball teams, but this appears to be a network nightmare. Is it as big a deal ratings-wise, or are people going to show up because it's the NBA?
You know, it's funny. I've never really been a huge ratings guy, Steve. I think, there's so many factors involved in that. If you're not enjoying one of the great young players in the sport, in SGA in Oklahoma City, and Halliburton and all of his amazing things that he's done the last 4 or 5 weeks, throwing a dagger at all 4 teams that Indiana has faced thus far. If the series goes long enough, if it gets to 6 or 7, the audience will be there. They might not be interested just yet, but I cannot imagine what anybody else is doing on Wednesday night and not watching game 3. If you're a sports fan, you've got to watch. I mean, I don't care if they're small markets. It's good basketball. It's the NBA Finals, and we're all just trying to get to football season, Steve. So keep watching.
Yeah, and I think it goes 7. What about you?
I actually think it's going to go 5 or 6. I think Oklahoma City found its footing. They should never have lost that first game. It should be 2-0. I figured they would split at Indiana and then go back to game 5 in Oklahoma City and win it. And now I think Oklahoma City might win the next 2 and then go back to OKC and win it. I think Oklahoma City's I just think Oklahoma City's better.
Oh, they are. There's no question they are. But there's something special about the Pacers this year. I mean, they got a little bit of 2004, 2005 White Sox magic.
It's always coming back to Chicago with you, huh, Steve?
Well, that's
if you can bring up the White Sox in 2025, you are something. Wow.
That's the White Sox slogan this year. Wait till 2004.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Between the White Sox and the Rockies, I don't know, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they may get delisted. And then you got Edmonton and Florida. Look, I don't think there should be an NHL franchise south of DC. The Panthers are really, really good. But boy, I'd love to see Canada get a cup.
6 straight years a Florida team has been in the Stanley Cup final. Not exactly what the designers of the original 6 were thinking all those years ago. I was in Toronto last week, Steve, for the RBC Canadian Open.
Yep.
And it was games 1 and 2 of the Stanley Cup final. And the whole debate, can Leafs fans root for Edmonton? And, you know, everyone who wants to see Connor McDavid win a cup.
Yep.
And I think everyone in Canada is kind of foregoing the Leafs, Canadians, the Jets, the Canucks, the Senators, the Flames. They just want Canada to win a cup for the first time since '93 when the Canadians did it. But golly, the Panthers are good. I really want Connor McDavid to win one. I hope they win game 4, tie it up, and go back to Edmonton 2-2. But, man, the Panthers and Marchand, they're just so tough. Paul Maurice is a great coach. But I really, really want McDavid. McDavid is the best player in sports. He is the best player in hockey, and he does his job as well as anybody in all of sports. He's amazing to watch, and I would love to see him win a cup.
Yeah, and by the way, look for a guy named Draisaitl, which sounds like a personal problem, and if you have that, get to a clinic.
Well, what's amazing is last week, so I was up there, and all these Canadians are talking about the cup and all that kind of stuff. Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey. Leon Draisaitl is the second best player in hockey.
How about that?
You're trying to think, when's the last time in sports that you could unequivocally say the top 2 players in the sport? You know, I mean, Jordan was number 1 forever. Ever number 2 in the game? I don't think so at the time. And, you know, 97 and 29 are absolutely fabulous to watch.
Yeah, on a team, I think you're 1,000% right. Would you go Tiger Phil maybe during the early 2000s?
Yeah, Tiger Phil. You know, maybe for a little bit there, Shaq and Kobe on the same team, but I don't think they were 1 and 2 like this. I think McDavid and Draisaitl are the 2 best players in the sport. They play together. They play together well. My gosh, they're fun to watch.
I'm rooting for a 7 here, too, with Edmonton winning.
Oh, big time, man. There is nothing in all of sports like a game 7 in the Stanley Cup final. And I hope it happened last year and Florida won it. This year, I think it's going to get.
By the way, I was texting with our old friend Doc Emmerich the other day. As great as these guys do in the Cup are, there's nobody better than Doc Emmerich. And I told him we'd be talking, and he said to say hello.
Oh, man. Doc Emmerich is the gold standard in our business, Steve. That guy, not only is he the best who's ever done it play-by-play wise, he's also as class a guy as there is in our business. And it was an honor to even meet the guy, let alone get to know him a little bit.
He's the best. He really is. All right, let's talk golf. Oakmont, they restored Oakmont. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. What did they do? What are we going to see that's different?
They took away all the trees. Now, that's what it was in 2016 as well, but it's going to look so different to, you know.
So is it going to look like a links course?
Wide open, vast space. It's going to look like a links course, you know, when you're looking at it from the air, from the drones, that kind of stuff. But down on the ground, it is not a links course, man. The rough is brutal, Steve. I mean, brutal. And I think Over Par might win this week. I think it's going to be a very, very challenging test. The greens, they slope a lot, and they roll about 14.5 or 15 on the stimp, which is incredibly fast.
That's crazy.
The rough is incredibly thick, and it's nasty. If you don't find the fairway here or hit the greens, those are the 2 stats you got to look at.
And I don't know what the weather forecast is. Is there weather at all? Because you get a little wind with a 15 stimp. Nobody can putt that.
Yeah, it's not that windy. It might be rain on Sunday. We're pretty clear. It's going to be but it's been raining a bunch here. It's rained the last couple of days a little bit. It's rained last week. The golf course is a little soft, but if it firms up at all the way through the rest of the week, if it doesn't rain, look out, man. This place is going to be very, very, very challenging.
One of the things that you are tasked with, and I mean this as a compliment to you, my friend, there's nobody that does this better, is talking about great storylines, finding great storylines, and going with those. And one of those is a guy named Matt Vogt, who is a full-time dentist and part-time golfer.
Yep.
And a guy who apparently caddied at Oakmont.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a great story. What's amazing about the U.S. Open, and every major has its own. Like we just finished the French Open in tennis, just like the Grand Slams in tennis, Steve. Each major in golf has its own identity, and the identity of the U.S. Open has always been incredibly difficult courses to play, but also it's open to anybody. You know, if you have the ability to play golf, you have the ability to somehow make it to a U.S. Open. And with Matt, it's just a very, very cool storyline, has local ties. And we all thought when he qualified on Golf's Longest Day last week, you know what? He's going to get the honor of hitting the first tee shot. And sure enough, about an hour ago, at the time we're taping, so on Tuesday morning, the USGA announced the tee times, and Matt Vogt is going to be in the first group out, and he's going to be hitting the first tee shot here at Oakmont.
That's very cool.
It's a very cool honor. It's one of the kind of nuances at a major championship that make it special, and it's going to be an awfully special day for Matt.
That is very cool. Keegan Bradley's your Ryder Cup captain. He's been playing well. What do you expect from him?
You know, he plays tough golf courses well, Steve. He loves the limelight. He loves the spotlight. He's not afraid of the moment. And he's not only a major champion, but he's played in Ryder Cups. He's played in President's Cups. He's going to be the Ryder Cup captain, like you said. And he's one of those guys, for whatever reason, when the golf course is more difficult, he plays better and better than most. So I don't know if it's going to be Keegan's week this week. In fact, I doubt it will be, but I would expect Keegan to handle himself pretty well here at Oakmont.
And there's another guy that I don't expect to win, but I love this story. Bud Cauley's come back. If you pay attention to golf and we're watching the Memorial, you may be familiar with this story. But in short, a horrific car accident, a guy at the wheel who shouldn't have been at the wheel after some partying, and a guy that he'd known for 15 minutes, and he somehow makes it back to the highest level in golf, and he's playing this week. Man, it would be fun to see him play well.
Well, that story is amazing. We were chronicling it all throughout the year as he was starting to play much better golf here early in 2025. He's a super guy, very popular amongst his peers. And, you know, nobody remembers because, you know, golf as an amateur, unless you're someone like Tiger Woods, is not like, you know, college football and college basketball, where everybody knows everybody, you know, by the time they get drafted into those leagues. Bud Cauley was such a great amateur. He was such a great player as a kid. Everybody knew when he went to University of Alabama years ago that he was going to be a rock star on the PGA Tour. He got off to a bit of a slow start as a pro, started to play some really good golf. Everybody said, here it comes. And then he got in that car accident and it kind of derailed him for a bit. But he's been playing much, much better in 2025. I'm glad you brought him up. I think it would be a very tall task for him to be the best player after 4 days here at Oakmont. But I would love to see Bud Cauley get a little bit of sunshine on him throughout the course of this week here in Pittsburgh.
And Angel Cabrera, I'm old enough to remember when he won the Open at Oakmont. He has basically owned the Champions Tour. I still call it that. I refuse to change. And he keeps winning. But is he in the field? I didn't see him in the starters rack.
No, he's not in the field. The U.S. Open doesn't do that as far as bringing him back. But listen. I was at the Senior PGA Championship a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Angel Cabrera is playing some amazing golf. I think most people are familiar with his story. He was in prison for the better part of 30 months down in South America. He did his time. He came back out. That is not for me and you to judge. That's for, well, you can. I won't.
No, I'll tell you, I respect that he owned it. He owned what he did, and yep. He's trying to become a better man. I think it's great.
He is, and he has played some incredible golf. And he did something at Congressional, Steve, that we were trying to figure out if it's ever been done. And, you know, you can only go back so long with records because, you know, who knows what was happening in the 1800s, that kind of stuff. He won the Regions tradition on Monday because it was a Monday finish in Birmingham. They had back-to-back major championships on the PGA Tour Champions, the Champions Tour, as you said, and he won at Congressional the Senior PGA Championship on Sunday. So he won 2 major championships in the same week. And we were trying to figure out, and we just couldn't say it with any conviction, but we think he's the first player to ever win 2 major championships in the same week.
Yeah. Well, God bless him, man. Stay the course, literally and figuratively. All right, let's go lightning round through these guys, and I'll let you go. And I appreciate you, Steve Sands. You know that. Brooks Koepka, he used to be a talk at every major. He's not anymore. Is there any chance he could light it up this week?
There's always a chance, but Jack Nicklaus used to tell me all the time, whenever we have him on the set at Live from the Masters, he would say, you only get 4 cracks at it a year, so it's imperative that you bring your game to a major. You can't find your game at a major. Right now, Brooks is not playing great golf, so it'd be really hard for me to pick him to win. However, he's won 5 majors, including 2 U.S. Opens, and he knows how to get it done. I just think it would come out of the blue, and normally you don't see come out of the blue, not name-wise, but play-wise. You might get a random winner, but that random winner is someone who probably had some pedigree coming into the week. Brooks Koepka does not right now.
Xander, healthy enough to play well?
100%, and he's a ball striker, and ball strikers will win this week. You got to find fairways. You got to hit the greens. His game is getting better. He was injured early in the year, Steve, and he's getting better and better. He won 2 majors last year. He knows how to get it done in the biggest events, and he played very well at the Memorial 2 weeks ago. I expect Xander Schauffele to be right there on Sunday. And if it's his chance, if it's his time, and he has a chance to win it, who knows? But I expect Xander to play well this week.
And if you are lucky enough to be at Oakmont and you want to follow a fun guy to follow, a guy who talks out loud, not stop, but I would suggest occasionally you duck for your own health. Jordan Spieth, I don't know what's going on with him, but he sees more of the golf course than I do. In golf TV, you have the play-by-play guy. I do that. And then you have the analysts, and then you have the people on the ground. The people on the ground always joke whenever we have a Jordan Spieth hole. They always joke, well, there's no need to hear from me because he and his caddy, Michael Greller, will go back and forth and give you all the analysis you want. I just don't think he's hitting the ball as crisply as you need. He does drive the ball beautifully, but you've got to do a little bit more than that here. You've got to hit these greens, and you've got to be able to putt well. And I'm not saying the magic from Jordan Spieth is gone forever. I just don't think it's currently in place. I don't think either one of these guys win. Let's do an either or here. Collin Morikawa or Patrick Cantlay. I think Cantlay plays better.
I think Cantlay plays better also. I think Cantlay will play better.
Ryan Fox or Nick Taylor?
Ryan Fox. He's playing great golf.
Yep, it's won twice already this year.
Although I will say, Steve, it's hard to come back the next week and play well. But I think Nick Taylor is playing okay, but I think Ryan Fox is playing some seriously good golf.
Just under the top guys out there, and Justin, you may not agree with me that I'm putting Justin Thomas in this group, but I got Justin Thomas, Russell Henley, Sepp Straka, even Victor Hovland. Any of those guys jump?
Yeah, I like that 4th ball right there. I would say Russell Henley of those 4. Okay. I think Henley is a tough customer, knows how to play these difficult golf courses well, and brings more confidence to this U.S. Open than perhaps he ever has played in a U.S. Open.
Guy that looks like he'd do your taxes, but is having a great year, Ben Griffin. He could be tough this week. Obviously, DeChambeau, defending champ. You got to watch out for him. How about Shane Lowry?
Oh, I think Shane Lowry could win here. Shane Lowry hits that beautiful high fade, finds the fairway. By the way, people don't remember, but in 2016, when Dustin Johnson won the U.S. Open here at Oakmont, the last time it was played here, Shane Lowry was the 54-hole leader.
That's right.
Week. So he knows how to get it around Oakmont. Didn't close the deal, but now he has. He won at Royal Portrush, which is where we'll be at the Open next month in Northern Ireland. So he comes here to Oakmont as a major champion, showing a little bit of form as well. I think Shane will have a pretty good week.
You already mentioned this by talking about what Jack said, but Rory McIlroy shoots almost an 80 over the weekend at the Canadian Open. His game's not on form or in form. He needs to be informed. It's not on form. I mean, obviously he could light it up, but I just don't see it happening.
I think the exact same thing. He could win and he could miss the cut. It's very rare that you would say that about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the world. But right now it's feast or famine with McIlroy, and it's been famine here the last couple of starts.
And finally, Scotty Scheffler. I mean, I don't know how anybody votes against him, but it's a big deal winning an Open. And he's won so many times and he's up so many times, people forget. He's only got a couple of majors, but he's probably got a couple on the way to 20 by the time he's done.
I heard Brandel Chambly say the other day on the Golf Channel, he was asked, who do you think's going to win? He goes, oh, it's early. I need to see the course. I need to talk to the guys. And then the guy pressed him a little bit and he goes, well, what do you think the winning score will be? He said, whatever Scotty shoots. It's a pretty good line. Look, the guy's playing great, Steve. He's the most confident and he's the best player. He finds his way around. He is in that mode now that Tiger was. I'm not comparing the two. Yep. But when Tiger was in this mode, he would take 73, 74, 75 and make them 69 or 70. He won that PGA championship at Quail Hollow on Thursday, not on Sunday, because on Thursday he should have shot a 77 or 78, and he ended up shooting in the 60s. And
that's a great point.
That's what Scotty's doing well right now, and he's the best player in the world for a reason.
It'd be a shock if he wasn't there on Sunday, at least fighting for it. But here's my winner, and I'll let you go. Ludwig Oberg. A lot of people called me that in high school. Ludwig Oberg.
There you go.
He's my winner. He's a breakthrough. Who you got?
I will take a try box if you let me go to Arlington for a little bit.
Yep.
I will take Tommy Fleetwood, Harris English, and Scotty Scheffler in a try box.
Wow. I like those two. Man, it would be great to see Tommy Fleetwood win. You're the best, my friend. I know you're sitting in a parking lot at Oakmont for me, but I'll be watching so everybody else. NBC and the Golf Channel's finest. He's holding up the whole network. It's not easy being Steve Sands. Thank you, buddy. Have a great week.
There's something I've never heard before, but thank you. You're the best.
All right, buddy. Be well. Thanks.
Steve, thanks, buddy.
Thank you for listening to Live from My Office, a service of Monkey Run Productions. All rights reserved. The podcast is hosted by Steve Cochran, and it's mixed, edited, and produced by me, Ross Cochran. Steve is available for corporate speaking gigs. He would love to MC your event, and occasionally, he's funny. Thank you for listening. Head to cochranshow.com for more.